Hey everybody, welcome back to Basics by Barbara Ann. Today we got a two-part, maybe three-part series, and we're gonna talk about collard greens. I've gotten some inquiries from especially one client and sister, Kim, about collard greens. So today I'm gonna cook collard greens, and I hope y'all enjoy it. So the first part is going to be how to clean them. Let me tell y'all something. Collard greens is gritty. Depending on the season, they got bugs on them. They got worms on them. They have all kind of stuff. So it's April right now. So the collard greens I got today from the farm market, I like to go to farm market versus the grocery store. Because the grocery store, their greens been held. They've been packed. To me, they kind of lose their flavor, their oomph. So I went to the farm market this morning and I got some greens. I didn't get a whole lot, just enough to show y'all what to do with them. And so we're going to wash them. We're going to take the stems out of them. And then we're going to cut them up. That's part one. Can't get y'all all at one time. Too much for you to digest. Too much. Got to give it to you little by little. Okay, here we go. Hey, here we go. All right, so I'm over here at my sink. And, I get my collard green. This is what collard green look like. Okay? They don't look like kale. Kale look like spinach. A little, not spinach, mustard. Mustard and kale kind of favor. But this is a collard green. Okay? These are kind of pretty too. They are pretty. So anyway, what I do, turn on my water and I begin to wash. Now I wash leaf by leaf. All right, let me move this over a little bit so y'all can see. I wash leaf by leaf. And I wash it with cold water. Okay? So I wash that. It's nice and clean as you can see. You don't see nothing stuck to the stem and all that. So then I take the stem, the leaf, and I just go up the stem. Just go up it until I've got all that stem out. And this is what you're looking for. This is what you don't want to cook. It's thick, it's hard, so that's what you don't want. And then when you finish your leaf, it'll look like this. Okay, now that's just the washing step. And these were really, really clean. I will tell you, sometimes you're going to have to wash your greens 4 and 5 times to make sure there's no sand on them or anything. Hey, they come from the earth. And anything that comes from the earth, it's going to have dirt on it. Plain and simple. So we're going to get that stem out of that one. Hear that squeaky clean? You hear that? Ooh! Nice and clean. Ain't nothing worse than chewing on some greens and you get grit. I'm telling you, you get grit, you be like, I want more of them greens. And Lord knows, you want to make sure that if you the one in the family and you got cooked greens, you not the one. When the greens come in the house, everybody's sitting at the table and they're like, who cooked the greens? Who cooked the greens? And they say, Thelma Lou cooked them greens. The next person, y'all got any string beans in that kitchen? They don't want them. Because they already know Thelma Lou don't know what she's doing. So you want to make sure that you cook the greens and cook them right. And make sure they're not gritty. So, as you can see now, our greens are all nice and clean and prepared and ready to go to our next step. Okay? So our next step, first of all, we're going to get rid of all the stems. Because we need our sink. Now I will use my sink. My sink has been scrubbed down, soaked down, and it's clean. I'm going to rinse it out one more time because I had a couple of those greens in there. Make sure I have no grit. Okay. So now it's time to cut the greens up. So I use the flexible cutting boards. They're just easier for me and easier to store. And I can get 5, 6, 7 of them. And once they get old, I can just toss them. Very inexpensive. The wood cutting boards, they're all right for those that like them. That's just not my preference. They hold bacteria in the cuts and all that kind of stuff. And so they're not my preference. But you get what you like to get, what you want to buy. Okay, so now as you can see, I've layered my greens. I've layered them on top of each other like this, right? And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take those greens. Now watch very carefully what I do. Let me turn this around just a little bit more. Oops. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to take the greens and I'm going to roll them. I'll roll them tight. And then I'm going to use my knife. I like a serrated edge knife. It cuts so well. It cuts better than a chef knife. And it gets through things. So this is what I use. I use a serrated edge knife. Let's move you out the way. Okay, so then I just cut my greens in strips. Now, I use like a medium strip. Some people might use a larger one. I prefer a medium strip. And I just cut all the way down. Okay, I got all my greens cut up. And then I go back down the middle of all the strips I cut, and I cut one more time down the middle. And then